Good morning, world. It is very nearly the afternoon here on the beautiful island of Siargao here in the Philippines. We are all heading out and we are off to General Luna. The plan is to head to one of our favourite cafes for a little bit of lunch before Story does something rather exciting. And what are you doing today? What are you gonna do?
Yoga!
Yoga, that's right. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have arranged for Story to join a kids yoga class today in town.
And Mum and Dad are gonna come there too.
We're gonna come, yeah, we're gonna watch you. So we saw the sign for this yoga class for kids a week or so ago when we were in town, and we thought that that would be a nice thing for Story to try and have a go. It could be a new activity for her if she enjoys it. If all goes well and she does enjoy it, then we thought we could arrange to do it as a family, because yoga is something that Jay and I actually want to explore and try out as well. Unfortunately, Eden, I don't think it will be for you, even though you probably need it the most.
Yeah, you definitely need it the most, just to stretch out those legs.
Oh, poor Eden. What have you got there?
Coconut.
A coconut.
Can't eat because look.
No, you can't eat that one now.
Not grown yet.
Oh, did you give it to Shalako?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Hi, Shalako. Your waggy tail.
It's a present for him.
Yeah, it's a nice present for him. Right, let's get in the car and head off. It is just before midday here and it is very hot. It has that stormy feel about the air today. So we are expecting a bit of a storm later on today, a bit of thunder. The last few days actually we've had rain at night, like quite a lot, like a proper rainstorm, wind. It's been like lovely all day, but then when evening comes it's really kind of pelted down with rain, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been asked a few times, when is the best time to come to the Philippines? When is the summer? And apparently there is no summer in the Philippines. So I was looking into this. So basically there's a rainy season and then there's a dry season, and each of those seasons are broken up into sub-seasons, and then each of those seasons are broken up by where you are on the islands in the Philippines. So where we are in Siargao, there is actually not one month when it doesn't rain. So technically it's always rainy season here in Siargao, which is why it's so green.
So it will just be a bit rainier,
Yeah.
more rainier than usual in the rainy season, or a bit drier. But yeah, we have experienced the whole time we've been here, it has been kind of a constant similar weather, but that's what makes it lovely and green and tropical.
So according to the Philippines weather map, you can see that if we were further west in Christmas time, it would be drier. So you can actually escape some of the rainier seasons of Siargao by going to a different part of the Philippines. It's split up into these different bands. I read that the weather people here in the Philippines want to kind of get a new message out there that you can't compare the Philippines weather to your western seasons. Don't try and find a spring here or an autumn here, or ask when summer begins or anything, because it just doesn't apply. You have to get used to a whole new set of weather here and be prepared for anything.
It's very similar when we lived in Thailand. We had to get used to not having seasons, and it took a while because we did miss that kind of winter season where you have the hot summer, then you kind of expect it to cool down and you can wear big jumpers and hoodies and stuff like that again, but it just doesn't happen unless of course you seek it out and you go up to the mountains and things like that, or go to cooler parts. So Thailand's very similar as well, isn't it? They don't really have your 4 seasons a year either.
It was more predictable than here in the Philippines though, because they had a more 3-season pattern of wet, dry and
Hot.
Yeah, pretty much all over Thailand you could experience a similar thing. But here, being divided, so segmented in a way, you really do have to chase the sun.
Yeah, definitely.
Hard here.
Alright, we have just arrived at the Soul Shack. So this is Story's first time here, isn't it? You haven't had the food here yet.
This is fun.
What did you get? Look, they now do a little Soul Shack colouring in page, supplied with pencils, and then you can take it home with you, Story, or if you want, put it up on the wall with some other people. Cool, hey? Right, Story's cracking on with her colouring. Doing a good job so far. You've coloured in the watermelon. And look at this, what has just arrived. This was Story's choice of shake. No mistaking that it is Story's. She chose the butterfly shake, which has all the berries. Look at that, isn't it pretty? Yeah. How is it, Story? Does it get a thumbs up? Yeah. Jay went for a new shake today. This is the Tahini Shake. Looks lovely and creamy.
Shall I pull Dad?
And it has cinnamon on top.
Yeah, look. It says Story on it. And the white one says Jmayel on it.
This is Jay on it.
This is the first time we've tried the juices at the Soul Shack. This is the Get Your Greens juice. It's really, really dark green. And they've only just started doing these lovely salad bowls too. Ready for the taste test?
I am.
Okay.
It's really lovely.
Love the way it's been presented. Go for it.
Really nice. I added on chili flakes and avocado.
Avocado looks like a flower, doesn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Really nicely done. I've already devoured half of my tahini shake, which was really tasty. Oh, thank you for the spoon, Story. It's very kind of you.
I like the cucumber.
So we think this is officially the first salad bowl on the island, isn't it?
It's really good.
Yeah?
It's much, like, it's a really deep bowl, so it just keeps going down and down and down.
Yeah, it's deceivingly deep. Like that's
It's really nice.
my hand there, so you can see how big it actually is.
It's as big as your hand, Dad.
Almost as big as my hand, yeah. So there's lots to eat there, lots for Daddy to eat.
Man, it's almost big as my hand. Look.
Yeah, you want to test it so we can see how big your Story hand is? Ah.
I have still the baby hand. Still a kid.
You are still a kid, yeah. Here's a sign for Story's yoga class. We're up the other end of General Luna today. Story just putting on her shoes. You excited about the class, Story? Gonna be too excited?
Yeah.
Gonna be fun. Nice smile. This is the location, Greenhouse Siargao. It's a nice little resort here that we've never been to before. And Story's going to be doing yoga in that shala over there. We're not going to go inside. We've been asked to stay a little bit further back so Story can get used to the class without us being around. It's actually a much bigger class than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't sure if there were going to be any kids, but I think there's actually about 11 or 12 kids. They're all different ages, but it starts from 3 years old upwards. Probably the oldest kid here is about 9, I would say. But again, what a fantastic location to learn something new, eh? This is the Greenhouse Cafe here, and this is their coastline. This is the view. A couple of doggies around, but none of them have bothered Eden so far. Back of the sala actually opens out so you can see the sea view. Have a look at Story in there. What's she up to?
No, she's fine. They're just getting all their mats in a row. That was taking some time.
Yeah.
And they've just done the namaste, and she closed her eyes. So, but I had to move because she kept looking around at me. So
Yeah.
it was distracting.
Yeah, especially because it's her first time as well.
Yeah, so
Let her settle in.
Let her get used to it, yeah.
It's just you and us again, Eden. Back to the original daughter. You've got all our attention, okay? How are you feeling? Nice and cool? I actually forgot Eden's water bowl, so Sacha's just washing a half coconut in the sea. That's one really cool thing. You can find stuff like this lying around everywhere. Bring this back, rinse it out, put some of our mineral water in it, and Eden can have a drink. I'm really loving how dog friendly it is on Siargao. No one ever tells us that Eden can't come in. You know, there's a couple of hotels that have listed on their rules that they're not allowed in the rooms and stuff. But even then, sometimes you're allowed to bring them and then they have them sleep outside on the deck or something. That's the coconut bowl. Yeah?
Just rinsed.
Isn't it cool that you can just find something like this lying around? It's like a bowling ball, doesn't it? It's even got the little finger holes in it. That's like a real coconut shape as well. They don't make that, do they? It's like where the roots grow. Give it a little slosh. How's this feel, Eden? Very natural. Wonder if she'll drink from it. Yeah. Oh, Eden in the Philippines, drinking from a coconut shell. Is that yummy water? Is that what you wanted? You're so sweet. It's a new morning here in the Philippines. Story's yoga class went quite well in the end. There were quite a few kids there and I think she got a little bit distracted near the end, but we will try it again. She said she enjoyed it and wants to go back. It's quite early in the morning. Eden kept me up all night. I'm sitting out here now. There's a cool breeze going on and the sky is almost totally cloudy. I can feel some raindrops. Now there wasn't supposed to be any rain today according to the weather forecast. So going back to what we were saying about like when is the best time to visit the Philippines, depends on where you live in the Philippines. Here in Siargao, I would say from what we've experienced so far, the best months are between March and September. It's quite a long season and during that time it gets really hot around about June, July. It still rains from day to day, but it's less rainy, I would say. Once you start getting into September through to February, it gets really windy. You get some big storms and they do have that unofficial Amihan season, which is like the windy season. But I think here on Siargao, most people base their seasons on when to visit on the surf, because it's a surfing island. So if you come here in the full summer and there's no waves, then a lot of people would say it's not a good time to come to Siargao, because a lot of people want to try surfing lessons and surfers in general want to hit the waves. So the good thing about coming here is if you move around, you can get totally different weather experiences based on those 4 bands that I showed on the map earlier in the video. So you can chase the sun and you can get a totally different weather pattern. If you're not enjoying one season somewhere, you can move on to another island. When we've been living here a bit longer and we've travelled around a bit more, we'll be able to gauge exactly where it's good to be at what time. Because I remember when we lived in Thailand, up in the north, in the mountainous areas, it was better to be up there in the green season, which was their rainy season, because you got to see the green of the hills and everything. There was less burning from the farmers, so everything looked more beautiful. Whereas down south by the beaches, it was always better to be there in the proper high season, when you got more sunshine and less rain. So the same thing will happen here. I'm sure we will go to like a mountainous region and say it was better to be here when it rained. So much to discover. Get up, you old girl. Stop being lazy. That's it. Stretch out those legs. Last night I went on to Amazon UK and I bought Eden a new support brace which will help us to walk her for longer, with support on her rear legs. It's one that's specially been designed for dogs with arthritis. I also got her some doggy shoes which have rubber grips on them, because when she's in the house the floor can be a little bit slippery and her back legs are sliding around a little bit, and I want to give her some more support when she's at home and a bit more independence. And a brand new harness as well, because it's difficult to find a harness in this country that doesn't kind of rip on her fur a little bit. She's got sensitive skin now as well. Things we do for our old dogs, eh? You're a sweetie. You haven't lost that softness, that classic Eden softness. Come on, let's go in. I'm going to end today's video. I've got lots to do. I hope you enjoyed it and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.